Well, go include it then.
I've included now.
Okay, right, we're good.
Yep, we're all good.
Okay, right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to PMB Division 2 Test Number 1. This is a test race. No points are up for grabs. This is just to get us. Okay, words. This is just for us two to get used to the commentary thing. As you can tell, we're not used to it. And for the drivers to kind of get to grips with what they're going to be like racing against for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
But we've got a good bunch of drivers with us, so Jensen, you want to kind of talk us through this grid we've got as they kind of go out to set their outlaps?
Yeah. Um, it's quite a mixed division we have here. Quite a lot of our drivers have dropped down for Division 1, which is understandable as we have got a lot of challenging drivers in Division 1. So our draw we had yesterday, if you did see it on stream, in the Mercedes, we do have Jeffrey the Gamer, who isn't able to attend tonight, and also Ferrari 16. Ferrari 16 has drove in Division 1, had a few close battles with me when I was a Division 1 driver, which seems like a long time ago for some reason. Um, but he's been very quick. Moving on to Ferrari, Jack and Skaneman, two very consistent drivers. Jack obviously not being able to come tonight, but Skaneman is here for the Ferrari team, showing how the Scarlet Red Ferrari can do. As we say that, he is actually coming onto the track now, so hopefully we can see a lot
That
from
was good
Skaneman.
timing.
It's very good to see Skaneman's here. He's quite a consistent driver as well. Just didn't have the opportunity in Division 1, so Division 2 will hopefully be his time to shine. Moving on to the Red Bulls, we have one Red Bull driver here today, and that's Benji, as you will see him down in P8 at the moment, which is BXNDJ. I've seen him race a few times before we got him in here. He is quite quick. Could be consistent as well from the open lobbies that I've seen. JBLSQ, our other Red Bull driver, not here today, unfortunately. The McLaren drivers, as you can see, both of them are out on the outlaps at the moment, which is IX Palmer J27XI, which is Lewis, and Mad1682 Chaos, which is Alex Proctor. Alex didn't get the best of opportunities in Division 1. It wasn't because of consistency, it was just a lot of drivers were high leveled skill and he just couldn't get to grips with it. But Division 2 could be his time to shine. So hopefully that could be the same for him. The same with Lewis, really, he was consistent but just did struggle quite a bit as well with the talented drivers we have. We'll skip past Renault, the two drivers aren't here today, but hopefully they'll be here shortly. Hopefully for the next practice session they'll be here. As we say that, there is a yellow flag in Sector 3, which was one of the McLarens. As we move on to AlphaTauri, Caveman Boot, who is here, no he's not, sorry, he wasn't able to make it. He will hopefully be here next session along with GXL Dragon. As we now are on board with Skaneman, who's the first driver to set his fast lap. So if we watch him through this, seems to be a good exit through the first sector. Very early onto the brakes there, good exit there. As we let him carry on his lap, both of the racing points unfortunately were able to turn up tonight. We'll hopefully see them in the second test event. Alfa Romeo, we've got both drivers here today with Greg and Legend, both two drivers from Division 1. Both can be consistent. Legend had a very good start to the season. He was actually in the Ferrari for Division 1. Bumped down to the sister Italian team. So let's see how he can do with his drive with Greg, two talented drivers. McConkey is here tonight for the Haas. He's been quite a consistent driver in Division 1. Just didn't get the chance to shine like most of the drivers that are down here. NF Prune is not here neither. And both the Williams is Sean Mack and Zen as well. They are both here tonight. Hopefully, we haven't had these two races in a division race yet. I have seen Sean Mack race. The Skengman goes to a 123.4. That's a good
That's a
lap.
pretty good lap.
Very good lap from Skeng there. Alex coming across at 126. He had a few problems on the last part of his lap. Now Lewis has gone P1 with 122.8. Good lap from the McLaren there. And Greg slotting into
Yep.
P2 with a 123.4. Uh,
Okay, well, if you're finished now, let's take a look at this track.
yes.
Albert Park, of course, this Australian Grand Prix, what starts off the season in real life. It's a pretty good track, although some overtaking, yeah, there's little chances in there, but there is chance for a mistake to be made here, especially that turn 12, which we saw in Division 1. So, like, the fastest quality lap in Division 1 was by Braver Container in that Racing Point, who went on to finish second in the race. With a 120.5. So these guys, they were about 2 seconds off that time, which we didn't expect them to be on it, of course, because these guys, they're not like on the level of these top guys, but still they're pretty quick, as you can see with a 122.8. Of course, Mad Chaos not getting that good of a lap. Those two have been practicing these past couple of hours, and I did take a look at the stream earlier, and he was 3 seconds quicker than that.
Sorry to butt in, but Alex has had a crash into the barrier. It was getting too much onto the curves coming through. I think that is sector 2 he's coming through, and he's just lost a rear there. Heavy wing damage, so he will be coming into the pits as soon as possible. But it
Well, that's disappointing for him.
doesn't seem to be a good start for Alex. Hopefully he can pick it up. I mean, P4 is doing well for him at the moment. Benji really didn't have a good lap at P5 there. 146 wasn't a good lap there. But hopefully Alex, after he comes out of the pits, can start putting in those purple sectors, because he's got a chance to shine here.
Yeah, well, hopefully he can.
Yeah, as we look down the order here, Zen, McConkey and Sean are all out on track at the moment, setting their laps, as Legend and Ferrari are both still in the pits, so maybe we'll see a bit more from them a bit later in the session.
Okay, well, thank you, Jensen, for that. This track, we're going to go back to, as I said, we should expect about 123s to 125s as Benji comes in and sets a 121.
Wow.
That's a pretty good lap. Pretty good lap.
Oh, and that's a retirement for the session. Zen has came off at turn 12. Very hard impact with the barrier.
Sadly, I didn't manage to get that.
Oh, yeah, quite a hard hit with the barrier going into turn 12. So unfortunately, he will be qualifying P10. But it's all to play for during the races. Benji now goes again quicker in the top, and we see McConkey's now 5th with a 124.2.
Yes, well, so as we wait for these guys to go back into the garage and come out again to set some better laps, yeah, as I was saying, we should expect like anywhere from 123s to 125s with these guys, but obviously, that's kind of been blown out of the water with this 121, 122, two 122s. Although we do have Sean Mack with a 123, hopefully he can come out again and get a better lap time. But in the race, corners to watch out for overtaking and just for action in general. Turn 1, you got that heavy braking zone before the after DRS. Same with turn 3 is that tight right-hander in sector 1, and yeah, those two corners pretty good chances because of course you do have the DRS running. But moving on to sector 2, you will have turns 6 and 9, which are the right-handers. You could kind of get a move down the inside there, but you're going to need to watch that you don't shove your competition off the track. Turn 12 is going to be a really big one in like the way this race goes, because of course we've seen a couple of drivers bin it in turn 12. Of course, Jack in who sadly isn't with us today. He in the Division 1 race, he was running P3 I think ahead of me, and he just took too much curb and just lost it and was out of the race.
Yeah, it can be a very tricky corner with this circuit. And a lot of circuits that do have turn 12 have the same outcome really, but hopefully these drivers will get past that turn without any incidents. Obviously, unfortunate for Zen, who was on course for a good lap, but obviously that turn 12 can be a killer when it comes to your race.
Yeah, well, Sean Mack has actually managed to improve on that 132 and actually reverse the numbers. He's got 123.7, which puts him P5 ahead of McConkey. So we got quite a small gap between 4 and 5, about 4 tenths, and then actually, sorry, look at that gap between second and third. That's less
Yeah.
than a tenth. That's a pretty close gap. So watch out for those two, as they'll probably be firing out near the end of the session, as we have got 8 minutes left.
Yep. And now, as let's say, Legend will be coming around to finish his first timed lap. As he comes
Let's see
round
where he can
now,
put the car. Can he go quicker than his teammate?
he
No, he
goes
can't. He goes quicker than
P6.
McConkey. So McConkey drops from P5 by Sean to now P7 by Legend Killer. And that gap, look at that gap. 7/1000s between the Williams and the Romeo. That's crazy.
Is now the last person to settle that Ferrari 16 as he is coming through the last sector now, going to the penultimate corner. Can he put his car up into the top three? Because he has had quite consistency recently. Let's see where he goes here. Can he go any higher than Alex? He goes P7.
It's going to go P7, okay.
So it's two 100s off Legend, but there's still all to play for, as we all do have a couple more laps left in them. Hopefully we'll see a bit of improvement from Alex, being down with 126 at the moment. Hopefully on his way around now he can set a good lap, because we know what Alex can do. So hopefully he can bring that car up into the top 5 and matching his teammate,
we'll
hopefully.
See him,
Oh, as he
hopefully
goes
we'll
wide
see him get a good
there.
result today. Oh,
He's gone very wide into sector 3, so that's ruined his lap completely.
he seems to have the pace, Jenson, but he just can't seem to piece it together.
No, he's
As
not
of course,
got these
again, he runs
corners.
wide. And he's letting the Alfa Romeo pass. I'm not sure whether that was Legend Killer or Gregory. I think it was Gregory, because Legends just came into the pits.
And here we go again. Can Alex now set a second lap? Because he really needs to get a time better on this board here. And the only one in the 126 is Gregory.
We've lost
has
Gregory.
gone. Unfortunately there. But let's see what Alex can do on this.
Oh, he's gone off
he's
again.
Spinned it again.
That's disappointing for the McLaren driver. He's going to be kicking himself after that. He's put in a lot of practice in these past few hours. So to see this kind of fall away like this, it's not that good.
No.
But hopefully in these last 6 minutes, he could probably get another run done. As we do lose Zen as well. I don't know what's happened here.
Could
I
be
don't know whether
connection
they've been
issues.
kicked out of the session with connection issues, or yeah, Caveman said Gregory disconnected, and I imagine that's the same for Zen. So if we send them invites back to race. Sorry if the screen's kind of gone blank here. We do still have everyone, right?
Yeah, we just have these other two, yeah.
Okay, right. Okay, so if you want to go send them invites, I'll kind of keep up with qualifying. But yeah, Mad Chaos, he's got the pace. It's there. He just hasn't been able to keep it together on a lap. He's staying out for third lap, and Benji takes a 120.6. That is 1/10 off the Div 1 pole lap. 1/10.
Very quick lap there from Benji.
I think he's a bit quick for Division 2.
Well, it's all to play for, really. Like, as we say, he is quick, but that could only just be his qualifying pace. He could drop off of the race. Nobody knows here, really. And
Alex spins it again at turn 3.
Alex
Just took
really
too much curb, and now he was
there.
in the wall. And he's lost the
retired
left side of his
here.
front wing and retires out of frustration. That's sad to see. As I said, he has put in a lot of practice these past couple of hours, so it's disappointing to see him qualify down in P9.
Yeah, unfortunate.
But hopefully he can pick it up in the race.
Yeah, very unfortunate there for Alex. He has put a lot of practice in, as he has been telling us behind the scenes, but just looks like this qualifying isn't his one today. But let's hope he can make up for in the race, as we do have safety car on, so it could be a massive game changer here for anybody in this race. So hopefully Alex can pick his performance up, because we have got Greg back, thankfully. So hopefully we can get Zen back as well. But yeah, it's very, very unfortunate for Alex there.
As we now get Legend Killer on another fast lap, let's see what he can do, if he can improve from P7. Knowing his pace, he probably can. I could see him getting into the top 3.
Yeah. I think we have lost Zen completely as he has gone offline. So unfortunately, Zen probably will not be competing with us tonight, which is very unfortunate to see after his accident coming into turn 12. But we still got 9 drivers. Let's see how they can do in this.
Oh, but I think something's happened to Legend Killer. He was on a fast lap, but he did slow down around, I think that's turn... was that turn 6, I think? He just kind of slowed through there, and I don't know what happened.
Yeah,
He's back up to speed as well, but there's going to be no coming back from what he did there.
Yeah, I think Legend's backed off from this lap. Hopefully he can set another one and prove to us what he can do, because he is a quick driver. It's just, let's hope he can get his times right and his corners right.
But of course now we only have 3 minutes until the session ends, so these guys getting out to set their fastest lap is Zen has just pinged me on Discord saying that he got disconnected.
That's unfortunate.
Well, yeah, so this could be an exciting race, even though we've got only 10 drivers. It does have great potential.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone's going to score points here, but it's going to be good to see how close everybody really can get, because this grid seems very challenging with each other, and especially with the competition we're seeing at the moment. Benji may be running over in qualifying, but that doesn't mean that he's going to have failures during the race. Just have to wait and see what happens in the next 2 minutes.
Yep.
As we do see, Benji is
so
on
I'm trying
an
to figure
outlap.
out who is out on a fast lap. Benji's out on an outlap. I think Skangman and Pama, while Lewis are either on in-laps or quick laps. I don't know.
I'm pretty sure.
Ferrari. I think Ferrari's on a quick lap.
Pretty sure Lewis is on a quick lap. So let's
We'll go pay attention to him then.
let's see if he can improve on his 122.5. Maybe see a 121 from Lewis. I don't know if he'll catch it to Benji though.
Yeah, I think Benji's pretty much got his pole position here.
Yeah,
So that's whether he can convert that in the race. As he does get a good line out the final corner. Of course, his connection is a bit dodgy, but
here comes
ignore
Lewis
that. And he
now.
goes quicker by 2/10.
An improvement,
Or sorry,
but not enough.
0.164.
Where
He
is
improved. It could make it like all the difference against Skegman, but
Gangman is
it wasn't
coming
good enough
through
for
to the
P1.
Skagman's into the penultimate corner now. Let's see where he can go. Hopefully he can push into that second position and maybe even challenge Benji's. Comes around the second turn, or last turn now. Coming across the line, he goes
He
122.7.
again goes 2/10 quicker. But it's not enough, sadly, for the Ferrari driver. He nearly loses it there. He lost his end plate. Looks like he's not on a quick lap there. I think Ferrari 16 coming across the line now. He doesn't improve. He goes slower by 2/10.
It's
So
unfortunate
let's see if
for
he's going to stick
Ferrari.
around and do another lap.
We've got Sean and Ledger both on outlaps now. Are they going to make it round? Well, they should make it round for the flag. It's going to be... Actually, no, I don't think they will. I think it's going to be very close here.
I don't think they will. Legend, no, I don't think they will actually.
No,
Legend might.
They've got 20 seconds to make it round. I don't think it's going to happen.
I think they've left it too late.
Could be unfortunate here. Sean and Legend could be down in P6 and 7 here. As no, they're not going to make it. Legend coming through to the last part of Sector 3 now. But he's not going to make it with 1 second remaining. And that's time.
Have you sent an invite to Zen?
I did. I don't know if he's...
Okay, go send another one now,
Yeah, I'll send one now.
just before the race.
As he said, he's joining back.
He's just said that he's disconnected. I don't know if he'll, I don't know what he's saying. I've just sent him, we'll send him another invite. But yeah, that's disappointing for Legend and Sean not be able to set fastest lap, so they're pretty much set in P6 and 7 as McConkey is in the pits. Ferrari 16th though is 2/10 quicker, apparently. I think that was in the second sector. But let's see what he can do coming across the line. Can he get P4? No, he can't. He goes 0.05 seconds slower.
It's a good showing from Ferrari as he didn't get the opportunities in Division 1. It's been a good showing from all of Division 1 guys. Lewis especially being in P2. Skengman...
Hang on. Legend's managed to get around to that lap. Legend's on a fast lap, so is Sean.
Oh wow, okay, so we have
How's this happened?
2 laps for these two. We thought it might have been game over, but no. Legend's coming through now Through turn
Legend
12.
8/10ths up in the second sector.
This could be a very good lap from Legend here. He could put himself quite further up onto the grid. Hoping for the best here from Legend, as we have got a yellow flag in sector 3. Don't know who that was, but we should be alright as Legend coming around to penultimate corner
So
now.
turn 15. Go on, Legend.
As here he comes. Round to the start finish straight. Can he put that Alfa Romeo
Where
higher
can he go?
up?
He goes
P2.
P2.
What a lap by Legend.
21.9. That is a really good lap from Legend Killer there. It's a tenth slower than his Div 1 time around this track, but of course he will have had a lot more time to practice for that as Sean Mack comes into the pits. And then that is the end of qualifying pretty much. I think Benji is out on a flying lap. I don't know why.
Benji is now pulling off
Zen's,
into the pits.
Zen's asking for an invite, so if you want to go quickly send that before the race.
I've sent him through.
Oh, okay.
He's back now anyways, I think. I just need to...
Okay, right, cool. What a qualifying that was.
And a brilliant qualifying from everybody there. Benji especially with that 120.6, very quick from him. Good to see that we got
very quick lap.
Good to see that we've got a very close midfield here from P3 down. It's very close between everybody. So let's just hope this can stay as close as possible during the race, because this could be a very interesting race.
Yes, well, so just a quick recap of the results. We got Benji in P1. I'm going to have to wait for it to come back up again because the session's just ended.
I'll go for it. We got Benji P1, Legend Killer P2, the Alfa Romeo getting a very late last lap in there. Lewis in P3, Skengman P4, Greg coming in at P5 with Ferrari in P6, Sean P7, McConkey P8, Alex P9, and Zen unfortunately crashing out in P10.
And I've just noticed now as well, Skengman and McConkey have both set laps on the medium, so they will be starting on the medium tyres.
This could be very interesting here to see how this goes.
Yeah, that's a strategy call from those drivers there. They're not on the same team though, so what's going on here? Maybe they've had the same idea. But we've got 5 seconds. I don't know if Zen's had enough time to get in.
No, he says he's restarting quickly.
But yeah, what a lap from Benji to take P1 there. Let's see if he can convert that in this race.
Yeah, let's hope we can have a close race between everybody, as these drivers do seem very quick with each other and seem to be pushing each other a hell of a long way. But with the safety car, we don't know what can go here.
Yeah, even though we've only got 10 drivers in the field, it's going to be interesting. If someone bins it at turn 12, that could be a safety car for a solid like 3-4 laps.
Yeah, it could be very
Zen's
close.
asking for another invite.
Yeah. Alex forgot a setup, he said, which could be crucial, could not be. We just have to see.
As now we're just waiting for all the drivers to load in, and then we'll get underway with the formation lap. That's what drivers remember, there's an actual formation lap.
Yeah, so let's hope everyone can get through this formation lap cleanly.
And it appears they have. I'm amazed.
Yeah, very amazed to see that everybody's got away very clean, which is a good thing to see. Can you get odds on McConkey to crash on lap 1? I don't want to put a commentator's curse on it. I think that's the last thing I want to do. I'm not being put at charge for McConkey being took out or taking himself out of turn 1, so I'm not going to put my input onto that one. But
So Jason, who would you say are the ones to watch here?
I would say Legend and Lewis, P2 and P3, could be very close to see, as Legend did pull that lap out of nowhere at the end there. All of us thinking that he didn't have a lap, and well, he put a certain good one in there for P2. McConkey down in P8, not in the best places for qualifying, but we know what McConkey's got with him, so we know that he can get this car as far at the grid. Thankfully, Zen's been able to get back as well, so it's going to be interesting to see what he can do from P10 after crashing out. Alex as well could be one to watch from P9, depending on what type of start he has. But apart from that, I think think everyone's really one to watch. I mean, the one I'm going to be keeping an eye on this race, especially, is down in P7, Sean Mack. From what I've been with him in open lobbies, he's been very quick. So it's more or less, let's see what he can do in the race, because I think he could have a potential podium finish here, depending on the results during the race.
Yeah, well, as the drivers now form back up on the grid, we're in for a good one. We're in for a treat. So get a drink, go to the toilet, as we're a couple seconds away from the start of this race, the first test for Division 2. Division 2 officially gets underway on the 22nd to 28th of March with myself and Jensen. As you can see, the predicted pit stops, if you're doing a one-stop, you're going onto hards around lap 9 or 11. As two-stop, it was a soft to medium, as these guys now all on the grid. With 3, 4, 5 lights. And we are go here in Australia, and something's happened because none of them are going.
Oh,
there we go.
We had a very delayed start.
And they're off. That was very strange. But
Sure
Benji gets a good start, keeps P1, as now Lewis is side by side with Legend. What's happened to Legend? He's dropped down to P3 now, and he's under pressure from Skengman. We've got yellow flags, as I don't know what's happened further back. There is a Williams holding up the other Williams and an Alfa Romeo. I think that's Zen, as he sends a dive bomb down into turn 3. What's happened there? And it looks like Alex has also binned it at turn 3. It's chaos on this first lap.
As we see McConkey getting a good start there with everybody else's faults up into P6, and he's right on the back of Ferrari now. As Ferrari challenging Skengman coming through that turn, actually gets past Skengman. Oh no, he's still behind Skengman, sorry. But that is a good start for McConkey being into P6 already.
Well, yeah, that was a very chaotic first lap there with turn 3. I think that was about 2-3 drivers on the gravel there. Yeah. Ferrari does take a bit of a cautious line through sorry, he cuts the corner a little bit, and Skengman nearly loses it. He now falls prey to McConkey, who's now up to P5
very
from
brilliant.
His starting position.
Brilliant move there by McConkey. It's good to see him pushing up the field. Let's hope he can catch on to the back of one of his friends, Skengman, as he goes a bit wide into sector 3 there. But again, does clip the grass. So let's see how this goes. It is only the opening lap, as we do see at the front Benji pulling away with it for a moment. 2.3 seconds.
Well, here we go, round 16. Sorry to interrupt here, but no! Oh god, Mad Chaos went for the move on Sean Mack there around the outside, but he went a bit too wide and just clipped the wall. I don't know if he's got front wing damage or not. I can't tell. No, he hasn't. The McLaren doesn't have any damage.
Into the pits comes Zen after that first lap trouble. He really didn't get a good start. It was the Williams driver that got put onto the gravel and also had contact at turn 1. So let's hope that Zen can bring this back from being down in P10. There's still 27 laps to go.
And we have yellow flags at the first sector. I don't know who that's for. I think that was for the McLaren.
That was for Alex and the McLaren, yeah. I guess him and Greg may have had a bit of contact there. Well, let's just see how it goes for Alex, as he hasn't had the best of starts neither here.
But it seems like Benji has just kind of extended this lead massively with a 2.6 second lead over the McLaren. So McLaren goes a bit wide on turn 12 and giving Legend a bit of an advantage here. Let's see if he can get him down into turn. I should probably have my track map up. Into turn 13. No, he can't. He's too far back. I think this is a move for either turn 1 or turn 3 for the Alfa Romeo driver here.
Yeah, it's been a good start for Benji, pulling away with it with a 3.4 second gap at the moment. He's just lightning quick today. There's now Legend coming onto the back of Lewis here. Can he make a move into turn 1? No, he does.
No, he goes for a look down the inside, but he doesn't. He decides that he's not going to go for that. Can he get him down into turn 3? Let's take a look. He's taking a look around the outside there, but he doesn't get it done because he doesn't go for it. But he's gone a bit wide.
Lewis has gone wide.
Bit of an advantage.
Legend could have him at the end of this lap because it's very close racing. As we do see here, Lewis went a bit wide there, giving Legend even more of an advantage, but nothing yet for Legend. As we do see Skengman trying to join onto the back of this queue as well. As now here comes Legend through this second sector. He's going to send one to the inside,
he
thinks
goes for
twice.
The move, but he doesn't get it done.
Is that Alex going slow in sector 1 as well? He's really not having a good race here at the moment, is Alex. Quite slow through sector 1.
But here comes Legend Killer through turns 12 and 13. They need to watch. They don't bin it. As I say that, the McLaren driver bins it and hits into the back of Legend Killer. Thankfully, Legend gets out of that cleanly, but the McLaren does have front wing damage.
It's very
So
unfortunate.
that's going to be a pit stop for him.
Very unfortunate for Lewis there. Just getting caught out by that turn 12. Everybody seems to get caught out by that turn 12 here. But now, as we've got the two best friends here, Skeng and McConkey, P3 and P4, are we going to see a battle between them? As we now see Skengman's going on the attack for Legend, but nothing into turn 1 yet. As he does try down the inside, just getting his front wing down the inside of him there. As we're now coming in to the last part of Sector 1. Can Legend get his place up? And he has. Skengman
He gets the
up
move
to P2.
done.
Brilliant move there by Skengman, timing it to perfection. As it is a 7-second gap to Benji. Jesus Christ, he is quick. But can Skengman try and close this gap? Because he has got Legend right behind him. McConkey has actually been overtaken by Ferrari as well. McConkey's all over the track at the moment down in P5. Must be struggling with the tyres there. But let's hope that he can catch up to the back of Ferrari because he had a very good start from P8.
Well, yeah, it's very disappointing for McConkey, as of course he did make up 4 positions in the first 3 laps. But of course now sadly he is back down to P5, as Ferrari is just kind of pulling away with it. I don't know what's happened to him here. As far as I can see, he doesn't have front wing damage, and of course he's starting on the medium, so he shouldn't be feeling tire wear yet. It looks like he might have just dropped off the track somewhere and lost it a bit.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for McConkey at the moment. Hopefully there can be an improvement because we know what this guy is capable of. So as we come on to, or as we are on to lap 5, coming to lap 5 now, Benji with a 7.8 second gap to Skengman. Now going 8 seconds.
That gap just keeps increasing.
Oh, and Legend Killer is into the pits from P3.
That's an interesting call, and of course, speaking of interesting calls, this guy in the Division 1 race, he went to the end on mediums with a 1-stop, and he was in P3 as well. The tires just dropped off with like about 5 laps to go, and he eventually fell to P4. But it was a good result for him in the end. But I don't know what he's doing here with the strategy. He's gone onto the medium tires. So it's going to be interesting to see what he can do now.
Oh,
as
we've seen
Lewis passes Alex.
There's a yellow.
I don't know what's happened here.
Alex is not having the best of times here. Oh, and there's a Williams off there. That is Sean Mack. Sean Mack into the barrier in the middle of Sector 2 there. He has got front wing damage, so I didn't get to see what happened there. I think he might have just lost it on the curbs. There's now Legend getting past him with that front wing damage. That is not going to be good for Sean there. Really disappointing. The Zen's also in the pits as well down in P10, so really not good for the Williams and the McLarens at the moment. Really not really good race.
Well, Sean could have done something similar to what Dirtgloves did in the Division 1 race, where I think he just took too much curb off turn 4 and just binned it. As he hits the wall as well. I can't tell if he's got damage though, because I haven't seen on the cameras. Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he's missing the left end plate.
We've got a lot of front wing damage there. But hopefully he can bring it back because Sean is one of our quick drivers from the grid. So let's hope that he can get this pit stop in and get back quick enough.
Now as you see, McConkey in P4 has caught up to Ferrari, that 8/10 gap. He does get DRS, but I think it's going to be maybe a lap or 2 more until he can fully close that up.
And Gregory's Toe is also into the pits now in the other Alfa Romeos. This is very interesting from the Alfa Romeos. Very early calls from both of these. Let's see. He has gone back onto the mediums. So this could be interesting. Could be a very interesting call here from the Alfa Romeos. As Legend and Greg both on the mediums.
Yeah, that is quite an interesting strategy. I don't know if they're going to try and extend that to the end, which I highly doubt, or what they could be doing is they're maybe going onto those mediums to go back in near the end of the race and go onto the softs to maybe get that quicker advantage over these other guys that are doing the 1-stop on the hards.
Yeah, that could be a very good point there. As we have got Skengman catching up to the Williams to lap him, unfortunately. Zen hasn't had a good race, being disconnected in qualifying, crashing in qualifying as well. Now a lap down after 6 laps has really not been a good start of Zen. Hopefully he can bring it back in Bahrain though, because anything can be played for here.
Well, it's been a very disappointing race for the McLarens. Of course, Mad Chaos and Lewis, they've both been practicing for this like past few hours, and it's really disappointing to see him down in P7 and 8. As
Yeah.
McConkey is right behind Ferrari now. It's confusing seeing a guy named Ferrari in a Mercedes.
I think one battle we are needing to look at here is actually Lewis and Greg, as Lewis has caught up to Greg after his pit stop. This could be a good battle for P6 and P7 here.
But McConkey's not going to get the move done into turn 3, sorry. We're just going to have to wait and see if Ferrari can make a mistake. He could get him into turn 6 or turn 9. But after that, it's most likely going to be turn 13 after the DRS zone.
McConkey really putting the pressure onto Ferrari here. This could be a very good move, as we also do have Alex back into the pits. As he is pitting again, I'm guessing he may have had front wing damage again. So not very good race for Alex here neither. Maybe he can stay out in front of Sean, but I don't know about that. As
we have yellow flags at sector 2.
Is retired. Oh, virtual safety car.
Sorry, again, we've got a virtual safety car. How's that going to shake things up in this battle between Ferrari and McConkey, and even further battle between Gregory and Lewis?
Very unfortunate to see Zen retired here. It's not been a good race day for him today. But hopefully, like we say, he can bring it back in Bahrain and show what he's really got, because he does seem to be a quick driver when he's got the car behind him and when he's got the circuit performance.
And Ferrari is coming into the pits now. This is a good chance for drivers to, of course, save ERS, save fuel to use in these battles that they are part of. Let's see what Ferrari is going to be switching on to. I imagine this is going to be hards for him. And it is hards. He's going on the one stop.
As we see Skengman into P1, as Benji is dove into the pits under the virtual safety car, so this could be crucial for Benji to keep this lead. As Legend Killer up to P4 now, with Ferrari being into the pits. So let's see what this virtual safety car restart brings, as there is a drive-through penalty.
Gets a drive-through penalty.
And there's also a penalty for Sean Mack as well. That could be a similar penalty.
That is really going to shake things up now, as we do get up to pace again, as the VSC does end. That's also where they got its penalties from being quicker Delta when it ends. That's very unfortunate for those guys, especially McConkey, as he has been doing really well. So... yeah. It's going to be disappointing for him to see that drive-through penalty, but hopefully he can claw that back.
He's looking down the field now. Lewis seems to be dropped off a little bit from Greg here, but he is still in DRS range, so hopefully he can do very well when it comes to the next DRS zone, or even if Greg makes a mistake.
Both of them do have very similar ERS levels as well, so it's going to be interesting to see how this battle plays out. As we do have yellow flags at the final corner. Don't know what's happened there. I think that was maybe another incident for Mad Chaos, which is he's just not having a good time out there.
No, as Sean serves his drive-through penalty now, as Alex may just get him, as he has, getting him into turn 1. As through the pits comes Sean to serve his penalty. McConkey into the pits to serve his drive-through penalty as well, as here comes Legend around the last turn to take his P3 away from him. Let's hope that McConkey can get onto the back of Legend and Ferrari as soon as he gets out of this pits. He might just get out in front of Ferrari here. He should do. And he will. He'll be out just in front of Ferrari 16. So let's see if he can get onto the back of Legend and get back onto that podium position, as he's had a very good race to start with.
We're now back paying attention to... We're now back paying attention to this battle between Pama, who's of course Lewis, as we keep referring to him as, and Gregory. He's now 5/10 back with 90% ERS and of course DRS. Let's see what Gregory's on. Yeah, Gregory's got more ERS, so that's going to help him in defending this P6. As Lewis does go a little bit wide there. He does lose a bit of time than Gregory, because Gregory got a much better line through there. And Gregory just pulls away now, down into turn 6.
Yeah, it's going to be a very intense battle between these two, as they're both on a similar AI level and a similar driving expertise as well. So let's see how this goes for this P6 battle on the grid. As we do look further up the grid, McConkey...
Well, Lewis has now binned it. Well, he hasn't binned it. He's dipped onto the grass, which is really going to affect that battle for him.
And Alex is off again.
Down. He's off again. Oh,
Alex is off.
Same corner as well, turn 16.
Yeah, and Skengman's in the pits.
Sorry, turn
P1.
15.
Benji back into the lead. How much is he going to extend this lead over everybody else? Is Alex really struggling?
What is he doing?
Oh, and Alex
he's given up. He's had enough, and he's going to bring out another virtual safety car. So that's going to make McConkey's life a bit easier to catch up to Ferrari a
McConkey's
little
back
bit,
into
although
the
he
pits.
has dived into the pits.
This could be very interesting.
This is obviously going to be his first stop, his first pit stop.
Hopefully, as soon as he comes back out of the pits, he's going to have to catch up to Greg and Lewis. This is going to be very, very interesting for McConkey. As Lewis very eager to get past Greg. He wants this virtual safety car to end as soon as possible. Let's hope that
Both these drivers have
McConkey...
got to make sure they can stay below that delta.
Yeah, we don't want to see
Make
no
sure
more
not to overtake
drivers.
each other to get that penalty.
As McConkey coming out of the pits now, he's got a very big gap to Sean, as Sean is a lap down now. Unfortunate there for Sean, as he did have contact with the barrier. Very unfortunate to see that he's now a lap down. As DRS is now enabled, as the virtual safety car had ended. Can Lewis get Greg on the end of this lap, or will it be another lap?
I imagine he could have a good chance, but he's going for it down into, I think that's turn 6. No, that's turn 9.
It's a brilliant move.
Oh, he got past.
It's a brilliant move there from Lewis to put himself up to P5. Absolutely brilliant on the inside there. He's going to be wanting to push forward to get back onto that podium position where he qualified. So let's see how quickly he can catch up to Ferrari 16 in that Mercedes, who is not looking the best so far. He is quite far behind Legend, as Legend is actually catching up to Skangman here for P2 and P3. This could be an interesting battle between these two.
And of course, Benji now does have his lead back. It's now up to 13 seconds, which is a bit crazy.
Yeah, Benji showing his driving skill here. Absolutely beasting at the front of the grid. And
I did not know he was going to be this quick.
no, I thought it could be very close, but after that qualifying session, I don't think there's much that's going to go wrong for Benji. And we were all saying GXL Dragon, who's not here unfortunately, could take the title, but he's going to have a competition with Benji once he gets into our next practice session.
Yeah. Well, we've got some really good racing going on here. As I said, sadly we do only have 10 drivers, but hopefully for our next test next week, we're yet to kind of decide on days for that. We will have more drivers to see kind of where they are compared to these guys.
Yeah, very good if we could get a full grid. As
We do have yellow flags for Legend Killer, who's binned it at turn 12. I can't tell if he's got front wing damage. I don't think he does. No, he doesn't. He managed to keep it out of the walls, but that is going to cost him a lot of time.
It's Ferrari.
That gap is now 12 seconds, and Ferrari now catching up pretty quickly with that 5-second gap.
Yeah, it's going to be very disappointing there for Legend. He will be kicking himself. That Skangman sets the fastest lap of the race in P2. It's good to see him setting the fastest lap. But again, Legend isn't going to be happy with that, as he does dive into the pit, so I'm guessing he does have damage. As he did pit he pitted 6 laps ago, so this could be the front wing damage, we don't know. As Ferrari goes up into P3, that's very keen to see him up there.
No, he's not getting a front wing change. It's a tyre change onto hards, so I think he maybe is regretting going onto the 2-stop now. That, or he's flat spotted his tyres with spinning there.
Yeah, it could be a very, very close call there. Obviously, his teammate now in front of him, trying to get back at Lewis, who's now P4. But I think this could be a battle towards the end of the race. I reckon if there's a mistake from either of these, it could be very close. As we do have
more yellow flags for a Haas driver. It's McConkey. I don't know what's happened there.
Oh, and Greg has actually
spun. We have more yellow flags for Greg.
Commentators could have saw Greg there, so they could go wrong, and he has. He's got front wing damage as well, which is so unfortunate to see, as he was so close to Lewis there as well. So it's going to be absolutely terrible for Greg there. Back into the pits he must come. He's probably going to regret coming onto those mediums as well, so he will be changing tyres, I assume, as well, as his teammate now catching up to him.
So that is both Alfa Romeos now having to pit in the space of 2 laps. That's disappointing for them. Of course, Lewis is now up into P4. I never even noticed that they were battling for P4.
Yeah, he's got a 3-second gap to Ferrari in P3, so this could be a close battle, as Legend does get past his teammate who has front wing damage. But looking at the front of the grid, 10-second gap to Skangman in P1. It could be end race for Skangman. He can keep putting in consistent fastest laps, and if Benji has any problems as well, this could be close towards the end, or it could just be a Benji first win of the pre-season.
Yeah, well, of course, we do have two more rounds of the preseason, one in Bahrain and then the third one in Canada. So our drivers are going to have that to look forward to. Hopefully Canada doesn't cause as much chaos as it did in the Division 1 race, where, of course, a Mercedes driver just launched it into Turn 1 and took out, I think about two drivers just ruined their race. So hopefully that doesn't happen next week. As I said, we're yet to decide on day and time for that. So as soon as we do, you guys will hear about that.
Yeah, you will. And as we see Greg now coming out of the pits, hopefully he can catch up to McConkey, as Greg is one quick driver in our midfield when he was in Division 1. So let's see if he can show how quick he really is and catch up to McConkey in P6. As we do look further at the grid, there's not really many battles happening, as Lewis is catching up to Ferrari.
As Lewis has taken that gap down to 2 seconds from 3. So this is going to be an interesting battle in about maybe 5 laps time, maybe even less.
Yeah, as long as there's no mistakes from Lewis or Ferrari, this could be a good battle towards the end of the race. But it's very unfortunate to see that Alex and Zen both out of this race. Hopefully Alex can bring it back in Bahrain, as Bahrain is one of his stronger circuits. So let's hopefully see if he can bring it back, because what Alex has got. So let's it will be a better Bahrain for Zen as well, as Ben decides he wants to hurt himself.
We're going to ignore the fact that I just punched my desk.
Idiot.
You're doing that. Oh!
Lewis. And there
Lewis.
goes Lewis.
That's very disappointing for him. I think he was just pushing it too much. And I mean, a safety car for that. It's just yellow flags in Sector 1.
And here comes
Sector 2 now, sorry, as he does come out to that. And he does let Legend Killer past. Disappointing for Lewis. That is very unfortunate.
It's been a very
unfortunate.
Yeah, I need to apologise for that one, but it's very unfortunate for both McLarens here. Put so much practice in before this, and it's just all gone to pot during the race. Alex being the first retirement. Now Lewis will be tracking down the order, as McConkey's now catching up to him with that wing damage that he has. I'm sure he's just going to let McConkey by, as he does hold him up a little bit there. So it could be a bit annoying for McConkey, but as he does go into P5, Lewis will have to box this lap for a new front wing. So let's see if McConkey can catch up to Legend Killer. Maybe get that 4th position back, as we know what Skangman not Skangman, sorry, McConkey.
Skangman? Oh, and Lewis has retired. He's just decided he's had enough.
It's both McLarens
out. Of course, understandable.
Very unfortunate for the both McLarens. It's understandable for them both to go out the way that they did, but hopefully they can bring it back in Bahrain, as we both know that Lewis and Alex have got a tendency of doing very well in Bahrain. So hopefully that can be shown when we go there for our second round of the pre-season test.
Yep, hopefully we will see them come back. But yeah, it's very disappointing to see those guys. Of course, we will probably be speaking to Alex afterwards. Just like kind of once we're finished here, and we'll see what happened to him.
Yeah, he has said...
We're going to laugh at him a bit.
He has said in the chat that because he didn't have a setup, he couldn't turn properly.
Yeah, well that explains it. It shows you how much of a different setup makes. Of course, if you've been practicing this track with the same setup, either change it or just don't put it on for the race. It shows you how much you're going to struggle. And of course, as well, it shows you don't always practice in time trial, because of course the quality trim of the car is much different to the race trim. Like, the car is obviously much heavier in the race, so throwing it through 11 and 12, it's not going to be easy. You're going to need to shift down a lot more and slow down more to get it through those corners, which I think is what catches out a lot of our drivers.
Yeah, a lot of drivers do struggle, especially the ones that don't have setups. They do struggle quite a lot around here. But as we do see, it is getting down the gap here to Benji and Skangman. It is now 9.7 seconds. This could be a last lap thing with 13 laps to go. If Skangman can start putting in these sector times, he could catch up to Benji. So this could be a very...
I don't know, Skagman's probably going to need to pit again on those softs. I don't know how many laps he's been on them. We should probably actually check that. I don't think I can check that from there. Yeah, he's been on those softs for 6 laps. He's got about maybe 3-4 laps left on those tires, and he's probably going to have to switch onto the mediums. So I don't think we're going to really see this battle play out the way we want it to. Although
Uh,
he could probably keep P2 from Ferrari, or that could be an interesting battle. It depends how long he takes in the pits.
yeah, as we see Ben running away with it at the moment. He seems to be very quick compared to what we thought he was going to be. He was quite a last minute driver as well, so to see a last minute driver come in like this and take this field by storm is truly remarkable. Like we didn't expect anything of this sort.
Yeah, well, I think that's kind of throwing our battles out the window here. So we're just gonna have to waffle for the next like 13 laps.
Yeah, there's not really much else to see on the race at the moment as Legend is trying to catch up to Ferrari and Conky is 7 seconds behind Legend, so there could be a battle there in a few laps' time, depending on if both can keep out of the barriers.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm gonna have to go do something quickly. So if you want to take comms for now, give you a
Yeah,
little bit of practice of solo. I won't be that long.
alright.
All right. Cheers.
So as do see here, 9.2 seconds between Scanman and Benji. As Ben did say, there is a bit of trouble here with Scanman obviously needing to pay again after being on those tyres for over 7 laps now. But it's been truly remarkable seeing Benji taking this field by storm. Again, very unfortunate for the McLarens. They saw all this race and they looked set for qualifying. Looked like they're going to have a good couple of laps and get into those top 4 positions, but unfortunately it just wasn't there. And the same with Zen, very unfortunate there for him. As we do see now, Legend trying to catch up to Ferrari as much as possible. It could be a very close battle between these two towards the end. And again with McConkey as well. He's 7 seconds behind Legend as Legend does just pull in more time on Ferrari. So hopefully we can see a battle between these at some point during the race. But again, it's just blistering pace from Benji. 10 seconds to Scanman now as Scanman's tyres probably are he's on the softs. So it is going to be very tight for his tyres. Hopefully we don't have any more accidents for anybody here as we don't want another safety car because that, although it could shake up the field, Benji will lose that advantage and I wouldn't like to see how it'd be on the safety car restart with Benji's tyres. But as we are coming on to lap 19, 10 laps remaining, 10.4 second gap, now 10.5 as Skengman into the pits. He comes into the pits after being on those soft tyres for around about 8 laps. Hopefully he can still stay in P2 as he will stay P2 as Ferrari's coming into turn 12 now. So it should be quite a comfortable pit stop for Skengman. Finishing P2 will be absolutely brilliant for Skengman as he did struggle in Division 1. He was a quick driver, but compared to the drivers at the top of the grid, there wasn't really much of a chance for many drivers. As he does come out into P2, hopefully he can start to push. I think that's a hard save on, so let's hope he can start to push. As we look down the field, Ferrari coming across the line now for P3. It's Legend now on a 7.1 second gap. Legend put some pressure onto Ferrari here, as McConkey isn't too far behind Legend either. So we could see in 10 laps, well, not even 10 laps, probably in 5 laps time, we could see a battle between McConkey and Legend. And if Legend catch up to Ferrari, that's going to be very interesting with their driver skills.
Yeah, well, especially with now 10 laps left. Although, if you do look at Legend's ERS, he doesn't have that much, so he is going to have to try and conserve that. And if you compare to Ferrari's, who is on about 60%, and as well McConkey, both on 60%, words, 60%, I think Legend's in trouble here.
Yeah.
If he does end up catching, if McConkey does end up catching him, because Legend right now, he's on less than 10% ERS.
Yeah, it's going to be a struggle for Legend. He has relied on that DRS, for God's sake. He's relied on that ERS for a lot of this race. And it is going to pay dividends at the end because if McConkey catches up, it's not going to be an easy defence for Legend. As Skemman has already pitted now, he will be trying to push and catch back up to that gap with Benji as he is 36 seconds behind now after that pit stop. It looks like it could just be an easy win for Benji here. Without any commentator's curse, he could take the first win of the pre-season.
Yeah, well, that's what it's looking like right now, but you know our record from this race. 2 people we've said are going to do well, and they've just binned it. So, you know, I don't want to say I hope he's going to do it, but
Hmm.
competition.
Time can tell.
But yeah, that gap is 37 seconds. He's just running away with this right now. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think we're seeing our champion right now. Maybe, maybe.
Well,
Although Dragon could give him a run for his money. We haven't seen half the grid drive yet
yeah, we've still
against
got
these guys,
another
so it's gonna be
10.
interesting.
Still got another 10 drivers to see how they can compete. So it's gonna be very interesting in Bahrain. If we have got a full grid for Bahrain, it's gonna be very interesting to see how well these 20 drivers can do this season, and hopefully we can
But
give
Legend
you.
kill. Oh, sorry. Go on.
Sorry, hopefully we can see some good competition for you guys as Division Two nearly started. It's going to be very close with the drivers, I reckon, and hopefully the drivers that have dropped down from Division 1 can put on a show because a lot of them work close with each other in the midfield and the back of the grid as well. So hopefully being dropped into a division with similar driver standards, hopefully we can see a lot more battles coming into this when we got a full grid of 20.
Well, Legend Killer has now dropped that gap to 4.5 seconds. He's gaining pretty quickly, and he's not using ERS either. So I imagine he's got quite a bit of fuel left, and he's just hammering out that rich mode. And hopefully he can catch him by the end, because it would be nice to have a good battle at the end of the race. But of course, I think Ferrari might be able to take it with the ERS, but he is using quite a bit of it. Last time we checked, he was on like 60%. He's now on 35%. So I think he's just trying to maintain that gap, try and push it up a little bit.
Yeah, that gap will want to be maintained by Ferrari as he has had a good performance here in the Mercedes as he didn't get his opportunity in Division 1, but Division 2 could be a hunting ground for him as he's doing so well already in P3. That could be another commentator's curse, I hope not, but he's doing very well at the moment.
Yep. Well, of course, as I said, this is a practice event. These points aren't up for grabs. It's more to give all the drivers the chance to see whereabout they are going to be in the championship. Of course, like Benji would expect to be up the top. Skegman probably would expect to be there with them. Maybe even Legend Killer. I imagine Legend could have been up there if he didn't have those that mistake earlier on at turn 12. He's got the gap down to 3.9 seconds from what was 5 seconds at the end of the first sector. So Legend seems to really catch through that second sector.
And there's a 5-second penalty for speed in the pits for Sean as he has came into the pits. So it's so unfortunate he's got a 5-second time penalty. He's not had a good race today. Showed very quick speeds when we did our practice sessions out the side of the league in the open lobbies. He was showing his pace, but just seems to be he's not had the best times today with 5-second time penalty. And he already had a drive-through penalty as well. So it's just not his race today, unfortunately. But hopefully he can bring it back for Bahrain.
And now you can see in the background of the shot of Ferrari 16, you can see Legend Killer. He is closing that gap very quickly. Of course, now down to 3.3 seconds. That gap about like a minute ago was 3.9 seconds. He's a way to drop into 2 seconds now as well. Legend really catching up now.
Legend putting everything he can into this. 7 laps to go. Can Legend pull right to the back of Ferrari and show him what he's really made of? Gregory from P6 is now into the pits as well in the other Alfa Romeo. Hopefully he can have a better performance coming into Bahrain as well, as it's not really been his race with that mistake he had early on in the race. And hopefully we can see a bit more from McConkey as well, as he is 8.8 behind Legend, who's just pulling the pace onto Ferrari with 2.6 second gap now, 3.5 coming into there. The Legend could show us what he's really made of in these last few laps. It could be a last lap dash for him.
Well, it seems like that spin earlier where he pitted onto the hards from the mediums, that could have actually worked out for him here, as he is on fresher mediums. He went on those mediums 4 laps after Ferrari, so that's going to really help him here, as he now has closed the gap to below 2 seconds. So next lap, probably that's going to be less than a second. He's going to be right in DRS zone.
Yes, he has played down to 1.8 seconds at the moment. This is going to be very close towards the end of the race. It's going to be very close. So don't move. It's going to be a very good race between these two.
But again, Ferrari does have a lot more ERS, so It's going to be interesting to see if Legend can just keep this raw pace that he's got right now and manage to get past with that ERS that Ferrari has. It's now down to 1.2 seconds. As Legend does really catch through that first and second sector.
Yeah, it seems to be one of Legend's stronger circuits, as he did have a good performance here in Division 1, sorry, when he was racing. Obviously, his strategy didn't go to the best, his tyres did drop off. But now, a 1.1 second gap to Ferrari 16. It's going to be very close for these last 5 laps, so make sure you stay here and watch everything that goes on.
And now we run an ad, no. But yeah, Legend, he's got it down to a 1.1 second gap. I imagine by the time we've reached the second sector, he's going to have that done.
Yeah.
He's going to not have the move done, but he's going to have that gap down into DRS territory. He's going to be in that danger zone for Ferrari. But of course, Ferrari is using up all that ERS he can. He's now down to 28%, and Legend is down in 5%. Both these guys trying to use as much ERS as they can.
We know how deadly Legend Killer can be in that DRS zone from being in Division 1 with him. He has got the raw pace that he needs. Without ERS, without fuel, he can push you as hard as possible and he won't give up, as he's now under 1 second. He's 6/100, sorry, very close to Ferrari now, as he does the late break there, has put him off a little bit, but Ferrari does get onto the grass. This is going to be close going down to the straight.
Well, as we're now coming into turn 11 and 12, there's not going to be much of a chance to overtake here, but maybe one of them might mess up if they're trying to push the car that much, but neither of them do, as Legend will get DRS now into turn 13. He's not going to get the move done. I think this is more a turn 1 and turn 3 move. Let's see what he can get done with the
Ferrari's
DRS
gone wide
down
there.
here.
Onto the gravel.
Yeah, Ferrari has gone wide. Ooh, very close to him in turn 15.
Oh, and
he's
there's
rear-ended
contact
him.
there.
Is there damage? Legend will not be happy with that. I know fine he won't, but I don't think he does have damage, as he is going for the move down into turn 1. No, he's not. He's not going for the move. He's sticking right behind him, getting as much slipstream as he can. Can he get the move done into turn 3?
Thankfully, he has
Let's
no
take a
damage
look.
at the moment, so hopefully Legend can still put that pace onto the back of Ferrari. As it was a bit argy-bargy going into that last turn. But Ferrari has gone a little bit wide. There's Legend coming out to the inside. He is into P3. Brilliant move there by Legend, picking up on the mistakes of Ferrari 16, back into that podium position.
Well done to Legend there. I was going to say we got McConaughey in the background, but it's not. It's Sean Mack who has been lapped. He's way to unlap himself now. But yeah, what a race. What a race we've just had here. I don't know what's happened to Ferrari. Ferrari has really fallen off now. He's used up all his ERS. Remember how we were talking about he had loads of ERS to use against Legend. Obviously that didn't pay off. He's now down into 8%. 8% ERS. He's got around the same as Legend Killer now. And Shomak is actually kind of showing his pace right now. Even though he is a lap down, he's keeping up with these guys, and he is challenging Legend to get past him here.
Yeah, it could be a bit slightly putting off for Legend, as it does get quite annoying with ghosted drivers when they're lapped. It does pull you off your driver line quite a lot, so let's hope it doesn't pull Legend off too much. As Ferrari, yeah, dropping back to 1 second now. He's really dropped off. As McConkey's actually catching up, so in 3 laps time, if McConkey can get this gap closer, there could be a chance. We never rule out McConkey, because he's always got some sort of trick up his sleeve, so let's see what he can pull out in these last couple of laps.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. We've got a yellow flag.
And that's Skengman.
Skengman, who's retired.
That is very unfortunate to see. Skengman from P2 coming into that sector 3 just loses it, and the rear is just snapped and he is gone. So unfortunate.
That is very unfortunate for him there, but it does mean Legend Killer is of course going to take P2.
Very good
from
Legend.
What's been a disappointing start to the race, and as you can see, Skengman just sitting at the side of the track there.
Turn 12, honestly.
Missing his tyre. I think that was a front left he was missing. That's upsetting.
It's very annoying to see that he's gone off there at turn 12. As it has put McConkey down a bit. He has got just 6.1 second gap, but it has put him down with that yellow flag, having to back off a little bit. So let's hope that in these last two laps, McConkey can actually catch up to the back of Ferrari, because there's now a 3.3 second gap from Ferrari to Legend. So Ferrari struggling there with not a lot of VRS no more. So let's see what he can do from the defence of
These two are
McConkey.
actually having a decent battle here, Sean Mack and Legend.
Sean Mack properly showing his pace, maybe a lap down, but he's showing that if he had an alright start to his race and didn't have any mistakes, he could be up here battling with these drivers.
Yeah, well, if ghosting wasn't on, we could have been seeing some Verstappen Ocon at Brazil moments here.
Yeah, that would have been very close as we do look now. McConkey has pulled out some excellent time on Ferrari here. He's pulled at least 2 seconds on Ferrari in about half a lap. So McConkey, all 2 laps left, if there's any mistakes for Ferrari, he's going to be right on Ferrari's back end. He's going to be very close.
Yeah, well, still back on Skagman. That's very, very unfortunate for him. I think he just dipped onto the grass, just lost the rear, either went into the barrier on the left or right, maybe even both.
Yeah, very unfortunate there for him.
Let's see, he's got the gap down to 3.9 seconds, making that 3.8 now as he catches through that corner. He is pushing really hard right now. I don't know what's happened to Ferrari. He's really fallen off the pace since Legend got past him.
Yeah, McConkey really wanting that first podium. He was took away from it in Division 1. He hasn't got able to have a podium. This may only be practice, but he'll be happy with the podium in a practice race.
I know I would.
I'll be happy just being top 10. As we do see
I mean, again,
Ferrari dropping off the race a lot. It was 5.2 seconds a minute ago. Now still 5 second gap to Legend. Something has not gone right here for Ferrari. As McConkey now 3.8 seconds off. Is he going to be able to push enough? Or is Ferrari going to make a mistake, as we do seem to have commentators curse? Oh, Skagman loses the rear there. Not Skagman.
Skagman?
McConkey's lost the rear going into there, which has put him 4.3 behind. So I think that might be the end of this battle. But it was such a push from McConkey. Well, unfortunately, loses the rear going into turn 7 there. So unfortunate there.
Well, let's bring attention to the guy that is leading this race, Benji, who's leading by 1 minute and 15 seconds. He's going to actually lap from McConkey. But as we're coming into turn 15 now, we'll then go on to turn 16, which is, of course, the final corner of the final lap, which means Benji wins the first test race.
Absolutely brilliant drive there from Benji, showing his pure talent, that he can show how quick he is compared to this roster. It's going to be very hard to catch up with him, but we only had 10 drivers out of 20. So at the end of, hopefully by next Grand Prix, we can have all 20 drivers in just to see who can challenge Benji. But absolutely phenomenal drive from Benji there to take P1 in his first Grand Prix in this division and in this league in general. So it's good to see the new guys properly given a fight to, we could call them now, because they have been here for half a season. So the newer guys showing them what they can do and they ain't messing around.
But McConkey has managed to close that gap back up to 3.2 seconds. If he just didn't dip onto the grass or lose the rear end a little bit like he did, I imagine he could have had him.
Yeah, it would have
So
been.
that is very unlucky.
Would have been very close on our last lap between Ferrari and McConkey. But as we see now, Legend coming through the penultimate corner, after the race he has deserved this P2. Absolutely brilliant race of Legend as he comes across the line now to take P2. Brilliant drive from him. There's also Ferrari.
And here comes
coming
Ferrari.
across. He takes P3. And here comes McConkey. Pushed right to the end. Brilliant drive from him as well. P4 for McConkey. And what a brilliant race we've had in Australia.
Yeah, well done to all of our drivers. Of course, some of these guys old, some of these guys new. I've raced against some of these guys before, and like Mick Conkey, he's quick. Skegman, he's quick. Legend, he's quick. And it's really good to see these guys thrive. Of course, Mick Conkey is saying in chat that the drive-through penalty ruined him, which is true. Which it is. That is true.
Yeah, that
I
drive-through
forgot about the
penalty.
drive-through penalty.
It's unfortunate to see. You would have easily called to him, but very well for getting your P for there, mate. Absolutely brilliant to see the type of drivers we had coming into this. We didn't think Benji would be up there because he was one of the new drivers. We thought he might be towards the midfield, but no, he's proved us wrong and he's took the victory in our first practice race.
Yep, well, congratulations to Benji and, of course, Legend Killer and Ferrari who finish off the podium. We'll go do a quick rundown of our results, then we will finish up for today. So, of course, Benji takes P1 after starting in P1, taking the pole. And, of course, he sets the fastest lap as well, meaning that if this was the championship, he would have got those extra points. Or extra points, sorry. It took him 42 minutes to complete. Yeah, fastest lap with 124.4. Legend Killer then comes home in second place, who also started in second place. Ferrari finishing P3 after starting P6, and same with McConkey finishing P4 after starting P8. Gregory finishes in the same position he started in, with Sean finishing one position up with a 5-second penalty for not serving whatever penalty was he had. Lewis, Alex, and of course Zen coming home with DNFs.
Yeah.
Unlucky for them.
No, it's a very good race overall. Pure pace shown by a lot of drivers. And again, it just shows that in this type of racing, you don't know what's going to happen. And it was an absolutely brilliant race to see. And I've thoroughly enjoyed commentating this race. It's been a very good race to watch. There's been a lot of action and it's been very good to enjoy. So thank you, Ben, for joining me with the commentary. And yeah, roll on to when we come to Bahrain.
Yep, I'm really looking forward to Bahrain. It has potential to cause chaos, but also has a chance for some really good racing. So thank you to all our drivers. Thank you to viewers as well. And of course, thank you to Jenson for joining me for commentary. We will see you guys next week for Bahrain, probably at some point during the week. It depends on when Jenson's working and of course what times our drivers can make. So as I said, well done to all our drivers. We'll see you next time.
See you later, guys.